Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church here in Eugene. And hello and good morning to all of our Zoom friends online. We're all excited to be together today. My name is James Trujillo, and I use the pronouns of he and him. For those who need a visual description, I'm an average height and weight middle-aged man with brown hair, wearing a yellow shirt and a green undershirt because I'm so excited about the Duck win yesterday. And why shouldn't we snag at happiness and joy at any chance we can get it? All the information you need about the service can be in this handy guide, and if you need one and want one, please raise your hand high and one of our greeters will get one to you as soon as possible. Zoom friends, our tech team will drop a copy of the order of service and visitor form in the chat for you to view. And now, let us enter into a time of worship by lighting the flaming chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. The flaming chalice symbolizes the warmth of community, the light of reason, and an everlasting flame of hope. Chloe will be lighting the chalice as I share these words from Francis Cozier. May we light this chalice this morning to remind us of the power and beauty of balance and contrast. It is darkness that can make the flame of a single candle so powerful, and light that deepens those shadows in turn. A chalice flame is the meeting point, the union of the refuge, safety, and incredible beauty of darkness, and the warmth, the assurance, and the joy of light. May this act of lighting our chalice this morning remind us that we are stronger together in all the complexities and the disagreements of relationship because we are different and because we are one.
And good morning, everyone. Good Sunday morning. My name is Jen Youngsun Ryu, and I'm the minister here at the UU Church in Eugene. Glad to see all of you today. And hello, Zoom friends. I use the pronouns she and her, and today I've got my hair pulled back, and I'm wearing black and purple and all kinds of different colors. I'm very happy to be joined today by some wonderful friends who have joined us to help us bring more light into the world. So today I want to thank Hafiz, Leland for joining us today, and also Christo, Simpson. Thank you for bringing your musical gifts to the service. And I also want to thank everyone who was part of the bazaar this weekend. Anyone who helped to organize and clean up and set up. Can you just kind of wave your hands around? Yay! Woo. Thank you so much. Did you all need to announce anything from the bazaar? Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
The re-gifting service is in the chapel, so the children are in the chapel this morning. Everything is half price after church, and we would love everything to go so we don't have to pay.
Everything in the re-gifting room that is in the chapel is half price today. So we want everything to be gone out of the chapel by the end of Sunday, right? By the end of the day today. So please go and find a gift for someone in your life. You can find it in the re-gifting room. Thank you so much to everyone who planned that amazing event. It smelled so good in here, and there was a very warm, friendly community environment. It was really wonderful. So Hafiz has led groups throughout Seattle and Portland and Salem and Eugene, leading people in prayer. He is the former president of the Oregon Interfaith Hub, and that's how we met him. And he has also been leading the Dances of Universal Peace for the last 30 years throughout the Pacific Northwest. Today is the kind of culmination of this time that we have spent together. We have hosted 2 series of weekly prayer sessions of chanting and singing. And basically, we've been doing that all throughout the fall, and we've just concluded our time together, and it seemed like a wonderful way to share what we've been doing by presenting you with this service on prayer today. Particularly the Aramaic version of what is popularly known as the Lord's Prayer. Some of you who grew up with the Lord's Prayer. So many of you are familiar, and maybe many of you set it aside because the language just didn't speak to you. And I think this has happened to a lot of us, where we kind of grow out of a particular language, and sometime in your life, you can be gifted by brand new language that can help you to go back to something that was powerful and meaningful in your life, or maybe discover it brand new. And so that's what we'll be offering today. I want to leave you at this time with a particular version of the Lord's Prayer that was written by my colleague, the Reverend Alex Jensen. O Spirit of life and love, holy God, source eternal, in our midst, yet still ever so elusive, to breathe your sacred name is a blessing. Your world becomes. Your will be done on earth, inspired by our aspirations to do and to be better people. May we have all that we need to survive, live, and thrive. Remind us to be always gentle. May we love mercy and kindness, recalling all the times that we have fallen short of ourselves. Call us to be firm. May we not be tempted to follow selfish motivations or reside in our narrow privileges, unexamined, uninterrogated. Move us to counter and overcome evil and injustice in ourselves, in our lives, and in our institutions. Yours is the beloved community, the fire of commitment in our hearts, and the spirit of generosity and abundance, now and always. Amen. Many of us gathered around the winter spiral last Sunday. It was the first Sunday in Advent. Thanks to the Cups group, our covenant of UU pagans. Thanks to them, we had a bounty of fir boughs, and you can still see them around here. Last week, we lit the candle for hope, and today, we light it for peace. Peace unto you, peace unto our people, peace unto our planet. Peace for you who have weary bones, peace for your busy brains. peace for your broken heart. May that peace radiate to every corner of our homes, our cities, our cosmos. May we live in peace. And now let us enter into a time of silence, meditation, and prayer. During this time, you can also type into the Zoom chat your joys and sorrows, and if you do that, then I can read them aloud. And if you're present here in the sanctuary, you can also light a candle, place a stone in water. We have 3 areas where you can do that. And I think Suzanne's going to play some music for us. Thank you, Suzanne.
Now a poem, A Ritual to Read to Each Other by William Stafford. If you don't know the kind of person I am, and I don't know the kind of person you are, a pattern that others made may prevail in the world, and following the wrong God home, we may miss our star. For there is many a small betrayal in the mind, a shrug that lets the fragile sequence break, sending with shouts the horrible errors of childhood storming out to play through the broken dike. And as elephants parade holding each elephant's tail, and if one wanders, the circus won't find the park. I call it cruel, and maybe the root of all cruelty, to know what occurs, but not recognize the fact. And so I appeal to a voice, to something shadowy, a remote, important region in all who talk. Though we could fool each other, we should consider, lest the parade of our mutual life get lost in the dark. For it is important that awake people be awake, or a breaking line may discourage them back to sleep. The signals we give, yes or no, or maybe, should be clear. The darkness around us is deep.
Good morning, friends. My name is Hafiz. I use he and they. I'm wearing a green flannel shirt to try my best to stay warm, and I'm so grateful for sunshine this morning. One of those wow moments, I think, for those to stand in the sun for the first time in seems like a week or more. I'm so grateful also for all my friends, my family, my teachers especially, and my teachers' teachers. Without them, I wouldn't be standing here. And I want to make a quick, of all the years that I've been praying and on the spiritual path, I had a good friend who just told me, I don't know, I'll say 4 or 5 years ago, that when we pray, and I understand that that's a difficult word, so if it bothers you, I would just substitute presence or nature or great spirit, whatever resonates with you. But he said to me, we're not praying to anyone. We're not praying to. We're praying with. And being here today and having had the joy of being here almost every week now for months, and the joy of teaching a class here, I've had that feeling. And maybe one of the reasons that each one of us came here today was to pray with, to be in the presence together, to sing, to hold the silence. So I will offer at least 2 really down-to-earth, valuable practices that have helped me in my life and have helped me this week more than I could say. And one is a Buddhist practice, and the other one will be singing, chanting the first line of the Aramaic prayer. We divide our lives into many different categories. We have our cell phones, we have our cyber life, we have this, we have that, we have our spiritual life, we have a work life, we have our home life. And this Aramaic work, if anything else, has taught many of us who have practiced it, that there is no separation between this part of my life and the other part of my life. There's no separation between when you got here today and right now and the rest of the day and the rest of the week. So if that makes any sense, in Aramaic there's no separation between the past, the present, and the future. It's all contained, as you all know, right here, right now. So Jen wanted me to say some things about my life, but I'm so looking forward to singing and reading a few things from me. The magic of today is that we referenced Anne Lamott and Help Thanks Now, and without knowing, we both wanted to reference that book, so I'll read a little bit. But the significant parts of my life that brought me here, if I can put it into 2 minutes, would be that I grew up in the Reformed Jewish faith, and so I went to temple, and the first times that I heard people sitting in a temple and chanting together, Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, I thought, wow, these people are all sitting together and singing the same thing, or chanting, or just speaking those words together. And it had some effect on me. I don't really know. I didn't want to be a temple, like most kids didn't. But then I went to high school, and high school was very difficult for me for many reasons. I struggled on every level in high school. So I decided to join the choir. And for at least 3 years, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 years, I sang in the choir. At least 60 of us, I can't remember. Some of my best friends were in the choir. And just to join together in a choir and sing together in beautiful songs, of course, Christmas concerts every year, it moved me. And then 5 years ago or more, I discovered the Dances of Universal Peace, which are a dancing choir, a way to pray with your body, as the Aramaic words are. It's a body prayer. So, and then, discovering the Sufi path and the Dances of Universal Peace has brought me like a family, international family. Now on Zoom for 4 years, I get to pray and meet people in Australia, all over Europe, the East Coast, and so forth. And so special greetings to those on Zoom and any of my family that is here. I could cry easily, but I'll try and keep it together here. I come from a great family of criers, so I'll do my best. So this is a little shout out from Anne Lamott to all my friends and family of why they are so important, like that. So it goes like this. When you are aware of all that has been given to you in your lifetime, in the past few days, it is hard not to be humbled and pleased to give back. Most humbling of all is to comprehend the life-saving gift that your pit crew of people has been for you, and all the experiences you have shared, the journeys together, the collaborations, the births, the deaths, divorces, rehab, and vacations, the solidarity you have shown one another. And for those young people, you may not have heard of the great writer C.S. Lewis, most well known for the Chronicles of Narnia. But what I found out this week was that he had a very powerful friendship with J.R. Tolkien of Lord of the Rings. Some of you know this, it looks like, but I didn't. And I love the Lord of the Rings. Anyone near my age is at least knows of or has read the Lord of the Rings. And I think because of this friendship, and again, it uses the word prayer, so substitute presence or whatever works for you. C.S. Lewis wrote, "I pray because I can't help myself. I pray because I'm helpless. I pray because the need flows out of me all the time. The need flows out of me all the time, waking and sleeping. It doesn't change God, it changes me." I've heard this passage in a number of sermons in far-flung churches all over the years. It changes me. Hearing this makes me less afraid and more grateful, less critical and more trusting. Help, thanks, wow. I think most of us came to prayer through that word help. I did. And then we can get to gratitude, and then if all goes well, we get to wow. Wow. Just looking out the window at the trees, even in wintertime, or maybe especially in wintertime. Yeah, you can start the slides. I haven't been looking up there. I did bring a few slides. So I'm going to offer a very short practice. This is a practice, if I was dramatic, I would say it really changed my life 25 or more years ago when I was really struggling. And my sister actually, bless her heart, gave me the book, When Things Fall Apart. Now, many of us think right now things are falling apart, but things fall apart all the time and come back together. And in all of Pema Chodron's books, major books, she has a chapter on what's called Tonglen, Tonglen. You can look it up, you can listen to her on YouTube and elsewhere. And this is a super simple practice, and much like other practices from this practice is actually a little over 1,000 years ago. So talk about an ancient practice that is so helpful for today. So it has 4 stages. The first stage is just you sit for brief seconds, just seconds, tuning in to what's called bodhicitta, or this blessing that can, again, like the Aramaic prayer, I rarely spend more than 10 minutes in prayer or meditation. See, even those words, prayer, meditation, contemplation, they don't need to be separated, really. There is no difference between them. It's just our semantics, in my view, and in the Aramaic view. So I'll lead you through a very brief version of this. If you ever do this on your own, allow like a few minutes, 10 minutes afterwards, and see if you've experienced something completely different than when you started, a more spacious outlook on life. So with your eyes open or closed, if they're open, just to have a soft, very soft gaze. And just tune into that presence, whatever that means to you. Be with that presence for a moment. And then identify one feeling, just one feeling that is with you now. It may be challenging, it may be joyful, it may be sorrowful. Whatever it is, this is counterintuitive, but just breathe it in for a minute or a few seconds, and then breathe out the remedy. I'll give you a possibility. A remedy could be peace or love or spacious, calming energy or spacious light. So again, just for a few breaths, breathe in that, whatever the feeling is, and breathe out this remedy. It could be, just a calming moment, a peaceful moment, right here, right now. And then the third phase is the most beautiful in some ways and the more spacious, is breathe in this same feeling. There's millions of people in the world, at least, who have the same feeling that you have. This is a mind-blowing thing for me. I've had a hard time feeling that other people could feel the same way, but there's at least millions of people. So breathe in that feeling with all those other people, with them, and breathe out whatever that beautiful remedy that you thought of, breathe it out for millions and millions of people. If you feel like if you want to come back to yourself, you can. This is a fluid part of the practice where you can breathe out for all beings, and you can breathe in, and you can also use it for yourself. And then towards the end, just let go of all that you're thinking about as much as possible, and just sit in silence and sit in the spaciousness, spacious love, spacious light, compassionate understanding. And take a deep breath. And slowly but surely open your eyes, having a soft gaze. Like that. So, thank you for your silence and your compassionate presence. It may feel like a little thing that we're doing, just a little time to be and smile to yourself and smile to those around you. But little, I personally know people that are doing this and doing healing work online and otherwise almost every day. I know them in Europe, in Australia, around the world. This gives me some hope. If I know that many people, there's lots that I don't know. So I encourage you to visit that practice, even if it's just for 2 minutes, like that. So as a brief segue into the Aramaic prayer, and I'm not going to be able to say that much about the Aramaic prayer because I want you to hear it and just to sit with it again for 2 minutes, like that. What am I missing up here? Anything good? Did I miss the slides already? Maybe? Yeah, how are we doing on the slides? Okay, there we go. There's our garden. Okay, thank you. One of my favorite things is our garden and plants and the flowers. But last week, Reverend Jen talked about John O'Donohue. Again, I couldn't say enough about John O'Donohue, one of our most treasured ancestors. A good friend of David White, who lives in the Northwest, some of you might have heard of. And thanks to Cricket and Heather, otherwise I might not have this book, but this book's called Eternal Echoes. And it's one of those books where I could open it virtually anywhere in the book and have some of the most beautiful teachings. So I was going to read 2 passages, but maybe I'll just read one so we can get singing. There's a whole chapter in here on prayer. He says, human vision is always limited and selective, and you never see the whole picture. That's like the Tonglen practice. All of a sudden you see a picture of maybe people around the world that you're in prayer or presence or with, actually with. The providence that weaves your days sees the greater horizon and knows what your life needs in order for you to come fully to birth as the person you are called to be. knows what your life needs in order for you to come fully to birth as the person you are called to be. Let me just get one more sentence here if I can. Wants to be read. Each day, your soul weaves your life together. It weaves the opaque and ancient depth of you with the actual freshness of your present experience. The soul is the home of memory. When you pray or sit in presence, you enter the sanctuary where the repository of unlived and lived things opens to embrace the mystery of what you now live. Thank you, John O'Donohue. Some of you have been to Yahats. How many of you have never spent time or have even heard of Cape Perpetua? Is there a few of you that, almost everyone at least knows Cape Perpetua. Well, I'll just say really briefly, because Jen thought this was a great story, that we don't hike that much, but this year twice we had to go back. We hiked at Cape Perpetua in to see the giant spruce trees. And I mention this only because many of you love trees and love nature, I hope, as much as I do. And the second time we went up there, we get towards the end of the first mile, you encounter trees that are 200 to 500 years old. There we are. You can't get a glimpse of it. That tree is 15 feet in diameter. I'm not exaggerating. And but the feeling up there was one of the great. It just happened 3 to 4 months ago, and I still haven't really figured out what happened there. But it was one of those experiences in nature that I'll never forget. I can't wait to go back there. And so the way that ties in, I suppose, is that this Aramaic prayer, for me, actually goes back farther than 2,000 years ago. What is it? What was the cosmology? What was the spirituality that Yeshua, as I call him, Jesus, I call him Yeshua, would have been his name in Aramaic. And most scholars believe this is a language he spoke. So did we get the book cover, the icon up there? So this first line of the prayer is just 2 words. And at the end of after we chant, I'll do my best to intone the entire 8 lines of the prayer. And over the years that I've been leading this, I don't know how many people have come to me and said they've had experiences that they've never had before in their life. So my wish is that you just get a taste of that today. Yeah, beautiful. So the one lesson for me and for people I've talked to is that when you chant this or when you just breathe this, you don't actually have to, if you're not into singing and you're not into chanting, that's fine. But if you can breathe it, just be with these words, that's more than enough, as we will do a little bit after we chant it. So Christo, you could work your way up here. Thank you. Thank you to all the musicians. I'm so grateful. But when we work with these 2 words, you can feel a vertical presence. And some of you maybe already do this, but whether you're sitting or standing, you can feel a vertical presence that connects you with what's sometimes called heaven, which is certainly not just above us, is all around us every day of our lives, and the earth. We're connected, heaven and earth, all the time. But just to sit with that for however many seconds or a minute, and then feel a horizontal line, and that connects us with the spruce trees, with the little creatures, with our pit crew, which of course, for my case, includes 2 Buddhas, 2 cats that live in our house, whatever other small animals, large animals that are part of you. Well, there we go. That was perfect. I didn't take that picture. I took the rest of them. So these words, which this all comes from Prayers of the Cosmos. The icon was the cover of the book Prayers of the Cosmos, which came out in 1993, I believe, from my Sufi teacher, Neil Douglas Klotz. And so these two words are Abun Dabashmaya. If you go past the icon, that should be up there. And this is an unusual sound. It took me years. A BW sound is not really in English, so it's a very soft B. So it's more like the breath. It's more like Abun, Abun. Try that. Abun, Abun. And then the second word is Dabashmaya. Dabashmaya. But we'll just try Abun for a minute. There we go. Thank you. So if you can a little bit, feel a vertical presence going through your body. If you know the term, it's like through the central channel of your body. So this can calm your nervous system. It can ground you. And then at the same time, feel the horizontal line. So just breathe in. Breathe in, and then breathe out. Ooh. Try it a couple times. Ooh. So the translations, most of us, including myself, think of a translation as only one. There's only one way to translate this. In fact, the word Lord doesn't appear in the Aramaic language, which shows you something. And this really, without going on, this is like a liberation, is a freedom prayer. And so we're gonna let's sing it for some period of time, and then however many minutes we have, we'll just sit with it for a minute or two. Yeah, like that. So let's see how does it go. And if you want to know more about the Dances of Universal Peace, you can talk to Christo or I afterwards, or Asha. A few other dancers are here. O thou, the breathing life of all, creator of the shimmering sound that touches us. Mother, Father, creator of the universe, you create all that moves in light, sound, and vibration, the Shem, Shemaya, Avun Dabashmaya, Nitkar Shmok, Tete Mal Kutak, Nechwe Sviana Kaikana Dabashmaya, Afbara, Havlan, Lachma Desun Kadan Yomana, Washbuklan Kabain, Waktahain, Aikana Dafkanan, Shroken Lachayobain. Wela Taklan Linasuna, Ela Patsan Men Bisha, Metul Dilak, He Mal Kuta, Wahaila Watesh Bukta, La'alam Almin, Amen. La'alam Almin, Amen. My apologies that I didn't offer a translation. That was those were translations from that Neil offers.
And we'll extinguish our chalice, saying the words that we are accustomed to. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in love, everyone. Go in peace.